Hi everyone, I'm Lisa, and this is my great mate Derek, and Derek is going to introduce himself a little bit more. So Derek, can you tell everyone who you are and what it is you do?
Thank you for having me on your program this morning, Lisa, and I'm looking forward to the follow-up videos that we're going to do to try and tell people why we're helping to send the message out about getting a bank mortgage letter off to your bank.
Yep.
I'm a small business advocate. I've been helping small business people who have been knocked around by big corporations and companies and councils and banks, and that led me into the court system, where I had to understand and learn very quickly how and what was happening inside a courtroom, because there's no more law in our courts. And a lot of people get upset with me about saying that, because they say it says courthouse or court of, such and such on the front of the building.
Yep.
And I say, well, that has about as much weight as me putting that I'm a bank above my front door of my home. I don't have a license. I don't have all the papers to be a bank. So it's a silly analogy, but it's changed. Why? Because our politicians have sold our courts. I've got the documents and the proof. And as you know, Lisa, we put together with a group of friends to get a message out called The Death of the Andrews Government. And inside that document, I think it's about page 30 or 31, we have the conclusive proof that the County Court of Victoria is owned by American banks. But this courthouse every day is telling people we have to take away your house and give it to the bank.
Yep.
So we've now got that out in the public with a lot of great people like yourself and friends to get this message out about the truth. All right, it's all factual. We can back up everything we're saying, and you've asked me to share where I'm coming from, because now we're in a hurry to get this message out, to share this bank mortgage request letter, which is our right. It's our right to have a copy of our papers from the bank about what we actually signed up for.
Yep.
And we're going to go through that process. And we've got people right now, and here we are at the end of August 2020, that are getting the letters from the banks that if they don't pay their mortgages on time every month, they will have a letter of foreclosure awaiting. Right. I'm getting this from every state in Australia right now.
Yep. Okay. So that's the biggest thing that's going on at the moment, is that for people who are defaulting or have defaulted on their loans, this foreclosure is happening, and you want to be able to help people reclaim their homes, and you want to be able to show them the process that they can take to be able to do this. Yes. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm learning about this too as we go along. So yeah, I'll ask you questions as well, Derek. And so Derek, that's the main thing that you're doing at the moment. And why are you doing this?
Why? That's the first question that which people who are educated and more educated than me and teachers, and they say, why are you doing it? Why don't just sit at home and just write this out? It's going to come to an end. I have a different perspective because I actually stand in courtrooms, and when you have the courtroom, you've got the judge sitting above everybody, and then there's the or in front of the judge, and then you have the gallery. I don't stand anywhere else except at the bar table next to the barristers. And people say to me, how do you do that? And I say, because I tell the judge I'm a witness to a crime.
Yeah.
And everybody's faces change when I bring the crime aspect into the courtroom. They can't tell me to leave, because I say it's my obligation to inform the courtroom a crime has taken place. And the barristers start to cringe. Yeah, the barristers cringe, and the judges are looking very decidedly unhappy, because they don't want to have that word in their courtroom. Yeah. Right? That's where I'm standing. That's where I come from.
Yeah. And in this instance, the crime is that the mortgages aren't really what they appear to be, or what they say that they are. And we're going to go into more detail about that as we go along. Is that right, Derek? That's what
Yes.
the crime is. That's
Yes.
what the fraud is in this banking environment. I mean, obviously, the court system as a whole is more to that, but what we're talking about here, crime is that the mortgages aren't really what customers are told they are. Okay.
Well, the greatest, I can jump in just, Lisa, is the greatest myth is that we are going to the bank and they are telling us that we are borrowing money from them. There is no greater lie in this country today than the fact that we are not borrowing $1 from our bank.
Wow, okay.
And we'll explore that down the track. But this is what I've got to change the mentality. We are not paying a mortgage, we're paying rent on our properties.
Yep.
And it's a hard concept for many people. And we'll go through that process about how we're going to do that with that letter as we go through.
Because I'm still getting my head around this as well. Like it's really breaking down this education that we've had on what these things are. And, you know, when you say that, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Okay, so Jerry, you want to help people with their mortgages who have defaulted and are in a situation where the banks may have said to them, we're going to repossess your home, and you want to be able to help them reclaim their homes and keep those, and you want to, I guess, expose what's really going on with the banking system. How will you be doing this?
Okay, how
are you doing this?
I've been speaking to a lot of people, and I do it on a daily basis, and it's getting to the point now which we have to get this out on social media and on videos like this one, is it starts with this bank mortgage letter. What is this bank mortgage letter that everyone keeps on talking about? It outlines my research, my study, and the work I've been doing to go into the courtrooms of Australia. I'm in Western Australia Supreme Court as we speak, and I have another person in a local court, which is the lowest one in New South Wales, in the next hour.
Yeah.
So I have people calling me from interstate now because it's just gone across the border. It's just, you know, people spreading the word about requesting your right to a copy of your mortgage under Australian consumer law.
Okay. All right. And we're going to be talking more about that as well. So
yes,
that's where they can start with this mortgage letter.
Yes.
That's right. Now,
that's right.
I've also heard you mention a class action. Is that right? So you're looking for more people? Yep.
Right. Okay. It's going to have to come out at some point. We actually took a matter for a Queensland farming family, and they were brought to their knees because the Commonwealth Bank said, we're going to take your farm. And that was 6 generations on this land, and they had all their treaties with the Aboriginal owners of the land, and they had done everything right. And a family issue ensued, and the Commonwealth Bank got the father of the family, 86 years of age, to sign a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is not even immoral, it's criminal.
Did you say he was 86?
86 years old to say, it'll be okay, just sign here, and the Commonwealth Bank walked away with a contract with no lawyer present, and they got this man to sign a contract. Fast forward, everything went upside down, and the bank said, we're going to come back and steal the farm. So they found out what I was doing. We went to court, and during the court process, I'm not going to go into the details because of time, we put together a qui tam lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
These are words that when we talk, you're going to hear, and we'll discuss that in more depth, what that means.
Okay.
We did a document in quantum grammar. I didn't do it personally because I'm not qualified as of this meeting or this video. I will be in the next 3 weeks.
Awesome.
And we sent the paperwork over to Holland. What's in Holland? The International Criminal Court of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
not owned by the banks. It's not owned by Australia. It's not owned by any one country. It came back to Australia, and on the 16th of March this year, the Commonwealth Bank said, we're ripping up the mortgage of nearly $2 million, and we're going to give you back your property titles because we don't want to have anything to do with the ICC.
Okay. So, Derek, at this stage, people who are in this situation where, they've defaulted on their home loans, they don't need to be part of a class action at this stage. They can actually, they can go through an individual process. Is that right? Or do they need to be part of bigger group?
Let me clarify that the class action is what people have heard in the past.
Okay.
I'm looking to bring together 40 people per bank.
Right.
So the umbrella of a bank is the reason for the common cause of bringing together 40 people who are on board and understand what we're doing, because it is a change of mentality what we're doing, to replicate what we have done for this Queensland farming family by taking it out of Australia and saying it stops.
Okay.
Because there's no mortgage.
Okay. So we'll talk more about that in the upcoming videos. So at this stage, people can grab the letter, and you are looking for 40 people from each bank to go further with this as well. Okay, excellent. And when do you want this to happen, Derek?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, so people need to take action now. So they need to download this letter and fill it out. Now, can they fill it out by themselves, or do they need to be in touch with you? What's the process?
Okay. There's a lot of questions coming about, and there is, I have to say this, an extraordinary amount of fear about this letter. And I say to people this: you have a right under our laws to request a copy of your document. If you have a Telstra account, you're entitled to ask them for a copy, and they can't give it to you because they don't keep contracts anymore. It's all done by the phone conversation. And they say, can you just say yes or no to you agree to our terms? But you can't see the contract. If you go and buy a car or a credit card, you are required to sign a contract, an agreement. But when you buy your home, you do sign a contract, but they never give you a copy. And we need to bring people together yesterday in numbers to say, if one person is affected, you touch all. And I keep on saying this analogy, and I hope I upset somebody because I'm trying to upset people. In Paris, if they step on people's toes, like the government says, we're going to reduce your pension, every Frenchman comes on the streets. They stop the city. In Australia, we're not good at doing that. We're lousy. We are lousy at coming together for a common cause.
Okay, so you want to bring people together. So the first thing that they can do is download this letter, which we're going to share a link for that, which will be at the bottom of this video. And then from there, they can get in touch with you, Derek, via email. What's the best way to get in touch?
I'm getting a lot of people who are saying to me every day, Derek, I'm really disappointed you didn't answer my phone call. I am literally taking calls from 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And during this Zoom call, I've had at least 10 calls I've had to push off to my voicemail, which I fill up in a very short time, because the word is getting out and it's going to get worse. So I encourage people to find out my email address or contact you, Lisa, and just send me an email, and I have a job to try to work through that list, and it's in my diary, is to get in touch with people to show them, oh, we've got a big group over here in New South Wales. I said, great, I need your help to learn how to do the letter, find out all the members of Parliament, check out who is your chief executive of your bank, and help me to share this with your group. And then replicate this, because I can't get through all the calls every day anymore. It's full on, and that's why we're doing these videos as well. So what we'll do as well, Derek, is let's take people through the letter in one of our upcoming videos. Let's take them through the process of what it is that they need to do, so they can see, and you can talk them through that as well. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say
before we move on to another video?
Well, did we cover the whys and whos and whens and everything? Because
I
this is
think
your.
we've done. I think we've done that. The only thing is, I mean, where will this take place? So, you know, if you've got people, say if you've got 40 people, you've got some in Queensland, New South Wales, Western Australia, and Victoria. How do you do a group, a class action with people in different states?
I'm really glad you asked that, because I do have a newsletter. And what I'm doing is, when you say, Derek, my name's Lisa, I come from Queensland and I've got a bank mortgage with the Commonwealth Bank, and they've started legal action. I will have you in my Queensland newsletter group.
Yep.
And my intention is, if everybody is okay for me to share emails, I want people to communicate. I want community. That's my key word here. I want to build a sense of, I'm not in this by myself. I can pick up a phone or send an email to another person in Western Australia who's also with the same bank.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, gee, I've never heard that before. Why would you do that? And I say, because I want you to feel like you're not by yourself. You're with a community of people in the same boat. But you're not being pigeonholed, and you're not put and treated like you're a bad person because you lost your job because it wasn't your fault, because of the coronavirus scam.
Yeah.
And then we can start to break down the barriers and say, right, now we can get this message out even further.
Excellent.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to chat some more. We'll leave a link below this video as well for the letter, but we will be explaining that a bit more in another video. Good.
Thank you very much, Lisa.